To recap Thursday Night Football, next on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Welcome to FFT in 5. I'm Chris Towers. I'm here with Adam Azer, and we are recapping the Eagles' win over the Vikings from Thursday night. And there's no choice for biggest winner from this game but DeAndre Swift, right? I mean, he might end up being the RB1 for week 2. He rushed for 175 yards on 28 carries, the second most carries in a game for DeAndre Swift in his career. Got into the end zone. I know there was some consternation because Jalen Hurts got a couple of 1-yard touchdowns, 3 catches for 6 yards. No doubt about it, DeAndre Swift was a huge winner from tonight. But the question is, what does this mean for the Eagles' backfield moving forward after Kenneth Gainwell dominated playing time in week 1? Remember, Swift had 2 touches last week. What do you think this is going to look like in week 3 if Kenneth Gainwell's healthy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have no idea. But I think it's kind of like David Montgomery versus Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't understand how you don't play DeAndre Swift more. And I saw a lot of stuff. Oh, anyone could have run through those holes. And yeah, honestly.
I mean, they were pretty big.
They were great. Absolutely. But that's what I loved about DeAndre Swift. He's perfect. I mean, anyone could run behind this line. But you saw on that last possession that he had, well, not the second to last, the one where he ended up scoring. His touchdown run was great. And the long run to set up the touchdown before that. That's what Gainwell doesn't do. So Swift is the most talented back on that team without question. I think it's possible Rashad Penny is just not the same player after all the injuries, so he's not a factor. What happens next week? I have no idea. This is a great opportunity, I think, to sell DeAndre Swift if you can get a lot for him, because there's no way he's going to be a feature back, in my opinion. I think Gainwell is definitely going to have a role. And, to see the Eagles run the ball this much, I mean, this was so game plan specific. It was really brilliant. It was a chess match. And the first quarter really went to the Vikings. And then the Eagles said, all right, you're going to play that kind of defense? Watch this.
Yeah, I mean, chess kind of overstates how difficult the decision was. It was, I don't know, checkers or tic-tac-toe when if your opponent didn't have a pencil, right? Because the Vikings just had no chance of slowing this Eagles running game down. It was incredible to watch. It's the other thing to keep in mind is DeAndre Swift had a game with 33 carries, I believe, 2 seasons ago, got hurt the next game. That's the one thing with DeAndre Swift. Even if you believe he'll be the lead runner, he's had a lot of trouble staying healthy. So that's something to keep in mind here. And let's move on to a loser from this game. And I want to point out there's going to be some frustration from A.J. Brown managers. 4 catches for 29 yards. Not a great showing. Wasn't great in week 1. Was pretty good, but not great. He had a touchdown called back by a penalty. On the very next play, they moved back 10 yards. He had a 35-yard touchdown. He was interfered with. It should have been called. I know it was a frustrating game for A.J. Brown. He'll be fine moving forward. If there's any type of buy low window, take it for A.J. Brown. Adam, I'm going to guess that's not the case for Alexander Mattison, right?
No, I actually do think he's a buy low.
Okay, interesting. I figured he was the biggest loser here.
He is. Oh, he is. But the biggest, to me, the reason why he's the biggest loser is because that second fumble. I'm a little worried.
Didn't show up in the box score.
It did not show up in the box score, but he did fumble on a play that ended up being negated by a penalty. If he doesn't, this is what I said on Twitter, on X. If he doesn't lose the job,
it's Twitter.
Yeah, it's a great buy low. The schedule is going to get a lot easier. I really think the Eagles are kind of like the Niners. They're so good up front that you just don't start running backs against them unless they're studs. So the Chargers are next.
Yeah, they've been pretty bad against the run the last couple of years.
Like, you've got some good matchups coming up. As long as he doesn't lose the job, I think he's going to be the RB2 that you wanted him to be. But we know he's not a special running back. We know exactly what Madison is. So this bad game doesn't surprise me. It's like Dameon Pierce last week against the Ravens. I didn't expect a lot. I nervously started Madison. I would say buy low, but the second fumble really does freak me out a little bit. I just don't think Ty Chandler is taking his job. So I think there's an opportunity for a buy super low on Madison.
Yeah, the good news is Ty Chandler didn't replace. I mean, it was very late in the game, that second fumble, but he didn't replace him on the ensuing plays. So I think that's the good sign.
Did, I think.
Yeah, he's the fullback. We know his role. Want to move on before we go talk about some injuries from Thursday. And I said week 1 was the week of the surprise injury. Well, week 2 is shaping up to be the week of the surprise injury too, because Puka Nacua missed Thursday's practice with an oblique injury. DeAndre Hopkins, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, and Christian Watson have also all not practiced as of Thursday. This is a week where we're really going to have to keep an eye on those Friday reports. We're going to have an FFT5 on Sunday morning with all the latest for you, and just stay tuned. But the one guy I want to talk about, Jerry Jeudy, upgraded to a full participant in practice. We expect him to be the Broncos wide receiver 1. I assume we're getting him back in our lineups, but I wanted to ask some start-sit questions. Would you start Jerry Jeudy or a 49ers wide receiver in week 2?
I would start both of the 49ers over Jeudy.
Okay. What about Chris Godwin?
Yes, in full PPR, I would start Godwin, and half or not, I'd start Jeudy.
Okay, that helps me a lot because I've got Debo ranked 18th, Brandon Ayuk 19th, and Chris Godwin 20th. So no higher than 21st for Jerry Jeudy for me at the wide receiver position in week 2. Thank you very much for your help, Adam. We'll see you tomorrow on FFT and 5.